Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Greg, your co-host to the Grilling to Get Away podcast, and I'm here with my buddy.
Good morning, Greg. This is Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
How are you?
Thanks for waking up this early for me.
Whew. Well, it was tough. Like I said, I told you I set 8 alarms just to make sure that I could make it over on time.
You know, sometimes I tell him, I say, hey, he's smarter than he looks. You know what I mean?
That's a push. That's a push sometimes, but I appreciate your honesty and encouragement.
Yeah, that's what they say, but I say, don't
underestimate.
Yeah, don't. Oh no, I'm glad you could make it.
Me too.
How was your holidays?
It was great, man. It was good. It was a good time. We cooked, got out and grilled a bit.
All right, good.
It was fantastic. How was your Christmas with the family? You had some company over too.
Yeah,
right?
we hosted.
Okay.
The wife's side of the family. Yeah. My mom and stepdad came over as well.
So packed house.
Yeah, it was a small gathering, not big.
Sure.
My wife's side of the family is not too big, so yeah, we hosted, and it was a nice time. Nice little Christmas day. You know, got to eat some, got a lot of food. A lot of drinks, so it was good.
Good, man. Good.
Yeah. So what did you cook up?
And well, so I for Christmas we did lasagna, like I talked about.
Okay.
And so I smoked the all the meat for it. So we did had the sausage, some of that ground sausage that we got from the pig. So I had another package of that, which is nice, real fresh.
Right. Yeah.
And then so I did a pound of that, and then a pound of just ground beef. So smoked that in the cast iron.
Okay.
And I poured a little beer in there, threw some onions in there.
What kind of wood?
Well, so I used the lump coal.
Oh, okay.
And just went with that.
Yeah, it just has a natural flavor,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then did the lump coal for that, and then kept running with that, and we did pig shots as well. So I threw a couple pieces of apple in there.
Very nice.
Just to add some flavor to that. So.
Did you prepare the filling, the pig shot filling, any certain way?
Yeah, just kept it simple, man.
Mm-hmm.
I used obviously the cream cheese, and then I went with Fire for Effect and Fire in the Hole.
Ooh, so a little spicy, a little sweet.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more on the sweet side.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really not too spicy. But man, yeah, it was a hit.
That was good.
It was good. Yeah.
And you went. You were down in the.
I was here.
Oh, you were
here.
here.
Here at the house.
You hosted too?
No.
Okay.
It was just the family,
All
was. We went down to my wife's side of the family on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So went down there, hung out for a few hours. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, and then Christmas Day, it was just us at the house.
Okay, so pretty low key Christmas
awesome.
for you.
Yeah. It was a good day. Like I said, just simple, nice and easy. It was a good cook, man. Like I've never made lasagna before.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, here we go. Christmas
right.
Day, don't screw this up. But luckily, it's just
way to
us.
pick a major holiday to
you know what, man?
Try stuff out.
Yeah, hey, well, it was just me, the wife, and the kids, and like, man, this lasagna, like we used one of the big like tin pans, and like I filled it up.
Okay,
like just layer on top of layer. So meat. Yep, can't go wrong. Man.
All right.
The one thing, man, it didn't have too much of a smoked taste to it, so I kind of almost wish I had done it maybe the day before.
So get that,
and then
permeate
also,
a little bit more.
Right? Yeah, just kind of let everyone get to know each other.
Yeah. That's a good tip for people.
Yeah, like if you cook it the day before and then kind of get it all in a container and seal it up.
Yeah.
I wish I had probably thrown in like a chip or two though.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. I probably would have gone with like I don't know. Probably something simple. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. Probably pecan maybe.
Yeah.
Just something light. Just to kind of, like I said, just add a little bit to it. It was pretty cold that day. So I'm trying
Which
to
day?
think.
On Christmas?
On Christmas.
Or the day before?
No, it was Christmas.
Yeah,
it was
a chilly day out here.
Yeah. So like I don't know if I got like a ton of smoke off of like the lump coal. But yeah, it was like I said. I think that's what I wish I would have had more time the day before, but we were traveling, so I couldn't really do it. But I probably would have done it then.
Okay.
So it just kind of got to set for a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still good, man. Like I was pretty happy. It was like like Garfield style lasagna, where it was just man. We still have like half a tray left.
Oh yeah,
like, I've been eating it. Like
I bet you have
breakfast, lunch, dinner, lasagna.
Yeah,
who's hungry for lasagna? You
know? Kids are sick of it yet.
Yeah, like they won't eat it anymore. I'm like, hey,
we got this big lasagna. Come on.
What are you talking about? You're like, who wants
good.
lasagna?
I'm glad it turned out well.
Yeah, man. What about you? I know you were sending me some pics and stuff.
Yeah, man. I did a holiday brisket.
I want to be clear. I want to say this on the air. I'm so proud of you for doing that, man. Like you,
I appreciate.
I know it was wicked cold that day. Like it was nasty.
Yeah, and you sent me some words of encouragement.
I think
were like, "Hey, don't be a ninny."
That's what I'm here for, Greg.
Because I was contemplating doing it in the oven.
Yeah, I knew you'd be disappointed with yourself if you did it.
Yeah.
But it was like, I mean, what was it? That was a record day. Like just
so
brutal cold.
I smoked it the day before, or like 36 hours before. So like I had time on that Friday. You know, Christmas Eve was Saturday. I was going to be going to my dad's for Christmas Eve, so I couldn't do it that day. And then Sunday, obviously, we have people coming over. So I was like, well, let's smoke this bad boy on Friday. I got plenty of time, nothing to do. And let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
It just happened to be, -7 with a -30 wind chill.
It was windy as hell.
And the wind was howling.
Oh, man, yeah.
And I was like...
I told you to do it in the garage. And you said, nope. Right outside.
Right outside the garage, yeah.
Right in front of all the elements and stuff.
Yeah, I tried to block the wind as much as possible.
You just stand in front of it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a little nook in the back by the garage door, so that blocks one way, sort of, and then on the other side, like I parked my car up further up than I normally would to block that crosswind on the other side. So, yeah, I mean, the wind was still whipping around, but it wasn't almost like a direct on hit. Yeah. So, and I saw a bunch of other people, too, smoking on the Weber Smokey Mountain. That's what I used this time. So no pellet, no electric. I was out there with charcoal on my Weber Smokey Mountain 18-inch, and we were going to give it a go to see how it goes. You know, I'm a big fan of that in cold weather. Never this cold have I done it.
No.
So I wanted to test it out, and your words of encouragement gave me all that I needed to get out there.
Attaboy. You never let me down, Greg.
And grill, man. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one and break it down because I did a bunch of different things that I normally don't do on this one. And I was very happy with how it turned out.
It was quick, too.
You know, I was, so the brisket was a 6-pound flat.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it was a 6-pound flat, so nothing huge. We got it from the cow that we butchered, so I had it, and I was like, you know what, I've been looking at this thing for a while. Let's do it for Christmas. You know, it's not a big one. You know, I don't have a lot of people coming over, so it should be plenty. Plus, I got other food. So, yeah, I was like, let's do it. And I pulled it out of the freezer a few days ahead of time. And I was looking, okay, do I marinate this? Do I inject it? And I ended up injecting it. So
there you go.
Yeah, man, a super simple injection. I kept it really simple. So it wasn't that, the 6-pounder isn't that big. So I think I used about a half a cup of beef broth. A little bit of whiskey, of course, in there.
Naturally.
A splash or two.
I like that idea.
Yeah, some soy sauce, some Worcestershire sauce. And then I threw in a little bit of brown sugar and a little bit of our garlic seasoning ground pounder. So I dissolved all that stuff in there, got my meat injector, and then injected that bad boy up.
So was this kind of a concoction that you just thought of, or did you see kind of something similar to this out somewhere on the web? On the interwebs.
Yep. Well, I mean, doing my research, I was looking at recipes and things for cooking it ahead of time and then reheating it.
You're right.
And I just happened to come across something similar, but of course I added the whiskey to it. Of course. I added our garlic seasoning to it. So yeah, I mean, just with about anything out there, I'll see something maybe I want to try and then maybe just add a little bit of what I want to add to it, right? So
yeah. What kind of whiskey did you use? I think everyone wants to know, Greg.
What do I have? Is it Evan Thompson? What is it called?
Thompson Williams? Thompson's?
Something like I don't know.
Oh, Evan Williams.
Evan Williams. That's what I got. I got that one in the cabinet right now. So
there you go.
I splashed a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
Some recipes called for distilling it down a little bit, I just straight up.
Yep.
Just, as long as that brown sugar was dissolved,
Yep.
I was injecting it. So
yeah. Was it thick, kind of pasty like? Or
no,
was it more...
it was a thin.
Okay.
It was a thin, almost kind of like a brine.
Yeah.
And every 1 to 2 inches on the brisket, I injected it, filled that bad boy up.
Heck yeah.
And then I wrapped it in saran wrap while I got the smoker ready.
So just the day of you injected.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was doing a little bit of research on that too. Like a lot of places or a lot of websites and people have done it say, hey, don't inject it, the night before because the cold in the refrigerator pushes all that stuff out. So basically you're empty the next day anyways. Yep. So I did it the day of, but it was only right as I was getting the thing.
So that's a pro tip from Greg right there. Tip. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking to inject anything like a brisket or whatever,
chicken turkey,
usually you do it right before you put it on.
Yeah. About a half hour. Yeah. Give or take.
So you inject it and then you put it right on the smoker or the grill. That way the juices stay in there. If you put it in the fridge, it gets cold. The pressure, helps release some of that juice back out of it. So you don't want to do that.
There it is. A little science there for you too, Greg.
Yeah,
well, that's cool, man. So let's talk about like the cook itself.
Sure.
You said you used your Smoky Mountain, the Weber.
I did. Yep.
You have a water bowl in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you fill that with water? Did you use that?
That's a great question, Ben, and that was one of my learnings along the way.
Here we go.
Well, it was so cold out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, this is my first time smoking in this cold of weather, so I'm just gonna start my process how I normally would start. So I did the menu method. So the fuel I was using was I used a combination of B&B lump.
Oh, okay.
So oak.
And that lasts a while too. Like that burns like hot and long.
And then
those are great for long cooks like that.
Exactly. And then also I used a little bit of B&B's competition briquettes.
Yep.
Oak as well. So I stuck with the oak flavor. I didn't add any additional chips or anything like that. So I used the briquettes to get it started.
Okay.
Yeah. So the minion method is basically I take a chimney full of charcoal. I dump it out on the bottom, because that's where the fuel is for the Smokey Mountain. And then I used about a quarter chimney to half a chimney full of the briquettes, get them started, and I just pour them on top. Mm-hmm. So that's basically spread out throughout the cook, and hopefully you don't have to add any additional throughout the cook because as it spreads like a minion, it continues to light those unlit charcoal.
Did you have to add any?
So I did initially.
With the temps being
initially, once I got the charcoal lit and I put it on, I had the pan in there and I filled it up, and I quickly found out that of course like the water in there was going to make it cooler.
I've read too, like, because I have mine, and it kind of, it's like, if you put hot water in versus obviously like lukewarm or cold or like kind of, that'll help, if you're running hot, right, you can throw cold water in there, it'll kind of help bring your temp down. If you're running, colder on the cold days like that, like, if you boil up some water and throw that in there, that helps too. That's just why I asked kind of what you decided to go with.
Yeah, I went with, there. Yeah, it brought the temp about 200. And I was thinking, you know what? Like because I had the brisket on the top rack, and there's probably a good 2.5 feet between the coals and then the brisket. So, I'm just thinking, I want to get the temp back up. I need to keep it cool in there because the outside temp is cool enough. So after about an hour, I just took the water pan out. Okay.
Did you move the brisket down?
No, I left. I was like, I got time. If this takes a little bit longer, or if it cooks faster, that's okay.
Yeah.
I really had no plan. I was planning about an hour and a half per pound. Mm-hmm. So I was already planning for at least a 6-hour cook.
Sure.
And so I took the water pan out of there completely, and just took it out and let the
top rack, then you have the rack that'll go right over like the water pan.
Yeah.
But you took that out. So did you leave it on that top rack, or did you put it on the middle rack?
No, I left it on the top rack. I was like, let's let this ride and see how it goes.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
I rubbed it down with a little bit of hot sauce.
Ooh, what kind?
Our hot brass garlic habanero.
Oh man, nice. I like that.
I did that for beef ribs one time. Yeah. It turned out phenomenal. So I was like, let's do it again for the brisket because basically, beef ribs are like brisket on a stick.
Sure.
So then just salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic.
Nice.
And put them on and let it ride, man.
Did you do that before or after you injected?
After.
Okay.
Yeah. After. Because I poured whatever remaining, liquid I had
Yep.
over the top of it. Use that kind of as a binder too. So it worked out well. But yeah, so I let it ride for about an hour. My temps dipped a little bit, so I was like, let's just take this water pan out of here and see what happens. And then once I did that, bam, bumped right back up to about 225. It hovered between 225 and 250. Once it started getting a little bit too high, like towards the 250 mark, at this point I had all my vents fully open again because of the cold temperatures outside. I wanted to keep the fire going
as hot as possible.
But once it started to get up to that 250, I decided that I was going to close some of the vents. So I closed one of the bottom vents to about a quarter way open. I kept the other two open that was away from the wind. And they're right back down to about 225 where I wanted it to be.
Just sat the rest of the time?
Yep, and that's where I kept it.
Nice, man.
Yeah, and it turned out well, man. Like I said to you, I was checking it. Actually, I did. So I'll post that on YouTube as well, so you can find our YouTube channel out there at Burn Pit BBQ. But I went out there after 3.5 hours. I had been checking it about every hour just to make sure it was going smooth.
And you just used those pen thermometers.
Yeah, I don't have. I wasn't using any wireless or anything like that. So this was completely. If I had to cook in cold weather and I didn't have any high-tech gear or anything like that, I was going to go ahead and see what I could do. So I had just those big meat thermometers that you put in the meat in the deepest part, and then it reads on the outside. So it's like it's not a digital one. It's straight up, I don't even know what you call them. But
it's like the pen type thermometer, right? Like it's got the big head on there and tells you the temp and stuff. And that's what we used on the pit.
Yeah, and it works. Yeah. Works great. Yeah.
Great. Reliable.
Yep.
Sometimes, it's not always most convenient, I guess, but
because you have to kind of keep an eye on it. Like you don't get something coming to your phone to tell you, hey, you're getting close to temperature.
Job, right? It's like it's part of the game, kind of. I guess.
Yeah. And I figured that had some time, anyways. So I put it in there, and I was checking in about every hour. Initially it was like every 15 minutes because it was so cold. I wanted to make sure that the smoker was staying up to temp, and if I needed to adjust like I did, I would do that.
So when you were checking in, Greg, were you physically taking the lid off and checking it, or were you just kind of just checking the temp on the outside?
Yeah, so my Weber has the temperature gauge on the outside, so I was just checking. One, because with the minion method using lump, sometimes like as those lumps get started, you could get a lot of heavy smoke. Yeah. So I want to make sure the smoke was clean, still coming out of the chimney, or out of the smoker, and I want to make sure the temperature was at least reasonable. If it was dipping too low, I wanted to bump it up. If it was too high, I wanted to bring it down. So with that cold of temperatures outside, like I was really just checking in to make sure things were still going smooth. Usually like at warmer temperatures, once an hour I'm coming in. But like initially, because this was my first real cold temperature one on this smoker, I was like, let's check in more often just to make sure we stay on track.
That's fair, man. Said sounds like a real good cook. How long did you have the meat on the actual
man
smoker?
So I was surprised. I went out there after 3.5-4 hours and checked on the internal temperature, and it was over 190 already. Usually you get to stall at like 160, 165, and then you wrap it, and that's what I was planning to do. I was going to wrap it at 165
with butcher paper. Or what were you going with?
No, I didn't have any butcher paper, so I had some aluminum foil.
Okay,
so I was going to do that, but I was looking for 160. I was going to try and break the stall, so I'd take it off at 160, wrap it, and then put it back on until I got to my 195, 203 to pull it. But I went out there and I was like, dang, this thing's already at like 195. And I was like, all right, well, let's just let this ride a little bit longer. I'm not going to wrap it now. It's already past the stall. It's already past 165. So let's see how it goes. And I took another thermometer, another meat one that I had pen, and I put it on the other side just to double check. Yep, sure enough, hey, we're past that 195 mark. So I left it on for another 15 minutes at 225, and then I pulled it, because those thermometers only go up to like 190. Yeah. So once you start going past 190, you're kind of good, Yeah. So I pulled it and I let it rest a little bit inside. Again, I wasn't going to be carving it up that day.
Yeah. Did you throw it in a cooler or anything, or just
no? I let it rest.
On the counter,
I put a little bit of tinfoil over it.
Okay.
I put it on the counter for about 20 minutes, and then I wrapped it up in tinfoil and put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I was planning a 6-7 hour cook, and this one only took about 4 hours.
And especially in that bitter cold.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
The Weber Smoky Mountain kept like a champ. I should have known not to doubt myself and doubt the product.
Boy.
I couldn't recommend that. If you're in cold weather, if you're not doing pellets, or if you have concerns about electricity, going out, because it was really windy that day. Yeah. I can't imagine somebody having like a pellet grill plugged in and then the power goes out.
Well, even too with those pellets, and we've talked to a lot of people that like with it being super windy like that, they have trouble with like kind of the temps, fluctuating up and down, and everything. So it's nothing but good things to say about that. Weber Smoky Mountain. And then, the process took a lot quicker, and that's what I kept going back to what our buddy Chad said when I interviewed him a few weeks ago. He said, don't cook the time, don't cook the temp, let the meat tell you when it's done. And I was like, oh, well, it's telling me it's done, I'm going to pull it. So I did that. It felt great. When I was sticking in that pen on the other side, it was like butter. Yeah, I was like, this is great. Yeah, slid right in. Huh?
Right. Yeah, it was done. Pulled it. Put it on the counter, covered up lightly with aluminum foil for about 20 minutes, and I wrapped it and put it into the
Was it hard not fridge. To eat it right then?
Oh, it was looking so good. Yeah, it was. But again, I wanted to see how it would go if I put it in the fridge and then I sliced it up and then reheated it.
Sure. So, let's talk about that, Greg. So
yeah.
Again, that's not like our normal process necessarily, right? I mean, usually when we're cooking for that day.
You're getting up at 2 a.m.
Right.
or midnight, and you put it on so you can eat at lunchtime or dinner, and you're serving it and slicing it like within that same cooking time.
Exactly. So kind of let's talk through that now, right? So you put it in the fridge, and how long? It was just overnight, right? That you were serving it the next day.
So
2 days. 2 days later.
Well, it was about 36 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next day, I took it off around like 4 o'clock on a Friday.
Okay.
4 or 5 o'clock on Friday. Put it in around 6 o'clock.
It's about happy hour time for you.
Yep. Got to make sure I was done with that process before so I could get So it sat in there until so from 6 o'clock Friday night, and I pulled it out about I want to say 9 o'clock Sunday morning.
Oh, okay.
So under 48 hours. So, and I had to do a little research too,
right?
Because I don't usually do that.
No, I rarely, especially like that long either.
So because it was only like a day or 2 days, a lot of places that I looked recommended just wrap it up, put it in a metal tin or a tin, put it and then cover it. So I did that, and because you want to keep all those juices in that tin, because when you reheat it, just in case anything comes out. And then everything said to slice it cold. So, I'll say, yep, it was really easy to slice when it was cold. So I sliced it cold.
Did you try it?
I did.
Not a boy.
It's great. Nice bark on there. Not as dark as, let's say, if I was leaving it on for 6 or 7 hours, but for a 4-hour cook, it was real nice bark. And then I sliced it cold. I put it in a glass dish. I got my oven again heated up to about 250, and then I poured a half a cup of beef broth into that dish. Okay, I wanted to keep it moist, right?
Sure.
And
makes sense to me.
And then I covered it with some aluminum foil and I put it in the oven, and just to reheat it up. And I did that for like 35 minutes before we're getting ready to serve brunch and stuff like that. Pulled it out, juicy as ever.
Nice.
Pulled apart, nice floppy brisket.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Good, man. Well, it's a good day.
It was. I was,
There's a lot to that.
There was a lot of new techniques that I use that I usually don't, and it turned out phenomenal. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad you called me. He said, "Don't be a ninny and do it," because I learned a lot along the process too. Because I was doing research. I was trying to figure out what I need to do to make sure this thing was ready for my guests and that it tasted good. And no, it turned out great, man. I was eating that thing up too, man.
Boy. Yeah. Good. Would you have done anything different, Greg? Anything that's maybe like, oh, I wish I. Like you, I know you already talked about like the water pan, right? Like, pulled that, but I think too, obviously that's part of the learning curve. But like as far as like the meat goes or anything else like that.
Yeah, I think if I look back, the water pan would be one thing. I probably wouldn't put it in at all with that cold of temperatures. I'd leave it out. I would, this was I was going back and forth about using the lump and the bricks.
Sure. How often do you use that combo, Greg? Both the bricks and the lump?
Honestly, I started using it when I was doing ribs over the summer because it just works out real well.
I agree. I like that. I don't think we've really talked about that before.
No, yeah.
I've used that a few times. Sometimes it seems like I don't know. I feel like it kind of complements each other well.
And I was worried. I was really worried because I was seeing some heavy smoke right away.
Sure.
And that heavy smoke can make the meat taste
thick,
bitter,
sour a little bit. Just kind of,
So I was watching that close. And, if I had to do it again, maybe I would just stick with the bricks.
Okay.
And put in some wood chips or something like that.
Okay.
But no, I mean, honestly, it tasted phenomenal. You couldn't taste, as far as anything.
With the wood chips, you're saying, right? You can still throw too many in there to cut it longer and kind of keep that even keel temp.
Yeah. And I've had really good cooks with B&B charcoal. It's almost my go-to now. If I can find it, which luckily our Ace has locally here.
We usually get the $5 off for your birthday and all that.
Yep.
Oh, I know. You're gonna grab a bag of B&B.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had some great cooks with it.
Yeah.
And it keeps temp longer.
Mm-hmm.
It tends to burn a little. I would recommend going out.
I'm glad the cook went well for you.
Yeah.
Any additional comments on the cook at all?
Hey, we say we grill and smoke in any weather.
We sure do. That's why it's like, Greg, think about the story, man.
Think about the story.
This is one for for the ages, right?
For the ages.
You're going against all these conditions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of push you like that, especially when you're doing a.
Well, I mean, if this was my first time doing a brisket,
sure.
I wouldn't recommend doing it like
especially
that.
Attempts like that.
But for us, that's the challenge. Okay, we know how to do a brisket. Let's see if we can do it in this weather, right?
Sure.
So, and I knew, if I somehow take it off, bring it in.
Right.
But, no, I'm glad you gave me that little push. And I was like, he's right. I need to get out there. I need to do this and, show everybody, too. So that's why I video documented it.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it out there as I talk through kind of what I was going through. I didn't get a chance. I got some pictures of the final product when I pulled it out of the oven, but it got eaten right away, so I didn't get a chance to kind of walk through that process. But otherwise, the actual cook itself on the smoker, I walk through that process, and I'll throw that on the YouTube so people can kind of watch that as well.
Nice, man. Well, that's awesome. Glad it all turned out.
Yeah, me too.
So, Merry Christmas. That's
Merry
a good
Christmas.
day, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Christmas miracle.
Okay. I wouldn't say that.
No.
I'd say it's reaffirming that we kind of know what we're doing here.
A little bit, but you also did your homework, right? Did a little research. It's something that I've never done before.
Yeah.
Especially that way. Again, like I said, there was a lot of kind of outside elements to this cook that, were kind of first time trials. Yeah. Right. So, man, great job.
I guess that would be one thing I'd recommend is don't do too many variables if you have a process down. For me, I was doing 3 different types of new things, injecting it, smoking it a few days in advance, and then reheating it in the oven. So
a lot of risks,
a lot of different parts there. But again, I think I was a little bit confident in my ability to adjust and maneuver. Plus, I was doing it a couple days ahead of time, so I could always find something else.
Sure,
some frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza, yeah. Confident, not cocky, right?
Yeah. But then that's a great point too. I was also reading. So if you are doing it ahead of time, a brisket can stay in the fridge, for maybe a week or two before you need to serve it. If it's going to be any longer, vacuum seal it, freeze it. And as I was doing research, a lot of people in cold weather states, they're I smoke a bunch of briskets during the summer and then I just freeze them for the winter when I want them. So you don't have to be out there in a negative 30 degree weather.
That's a great tip, huh?
Yeah, there you go. So if you prep a little bit, you could have a lot of brisket during the winter and not actually have to get out there. So
makes sense.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for letting me break that down. I was excited about it.
Man.
It was a good cook. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got out there.
Me too.
And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to walk anybody through that. But I'll throw the recipe out on the website, and then I'll throw the video out there on YouTube. You can come find it in the show notes as well. All right, man. So what do you got coming up this week? Anything?
Well, it's New Year's, right?
Oh yeah,
New Year's.
Up here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a corned beef.
All right.
So my mother-in-law got me a new cast iron for Christmas.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, did you get any other grilling related items for Christmas?
I did, man. My wife and kids got me like a new thermometer. Like, yeah, this is great, man. It's
like a wireless one.
Well, it's got the probes that go in there. It says outside, right? And then but it has like the wireless like remote stuff that you carry around. Like you can set like notifications, time, temp, like all this stuff, man. It's pretty high tech.
Very nice.
But not like app style. I don't like have to have an app for it or anything like that, which is, you know me, man.
Yeah, I know you. This is fight the system.
I do. So no, having the remote where I can check on it, look at it, is awesome. I'm super pumped about that. And then I also got a new cookbook.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a bunch of recipes using the cast iron.
Great.
Yeah, pumped.
Good.
Pumped. So
looking forward to hearing more about that. Yeah.
Me too. So I'll have to share some of that with you, obviously. I know, lately I've just been digging the cast iron.
I tell you, man, it's one of the best grilling pieces for your arsenal. If you don't got one, go out and grab one. Yeah.
Even if it's just like a small one.
Yeah.
Get started with an 8-inch.
Yeah.
Then get the 10, then the 12, and then like I said, she got me this kind of the big.
Very nice.
The big one. Yeah. It's kind of came with a lid and everything. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, man.
That's great.
Pretty tickled about it. You know what I mean?
I bet you.
But yeah, what about you, man?
I did. I got a big cutting board.
Yeah,
a big nice one.
I can never have it. Oh, my wife also got me a new knife, like a butcher style knife too. I'll have to send you a picture of that. Yeah, it was a good year.
It was a good year for the Kreppels.
Made out like a bandit. You know what I mean? New cutting board, huh?
Yeah, new cutting board, and then I got some shears. Some of those meat shears
that we needed for the wings and stuff.
Yeah, you need it for wings. You need it for the pork that we did.
Absolutely.
And the chickens, the whole chickens.
God,
I was like cutting through those things. I was like, I need some of those.
Yeah,
those were so I got those.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to. I used the cutting board already, obviously, and then just gotta find a reason to use the shears.
Yeah,
I got a whole chicken in the freezer, so maybe I'll do that soon.
There you go. What anything are you gonna grill anything for New Year's or anything like that?
That's a good question. I got some spare ribs in the freezer I saw the other day. They were hiding back there a little bit.
Dogs.
I might pull those out. Otherwise, no, I don't. Usually, I'll try and maybe pull out a lobster tail or something like that. So maybe I'll.
Tail.
Yeah.
There you go.
Put those on the grill, real easy to do.
Yeah, real quick, easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I don't know. Just like normal things. I'll see what piques my mind a few days ahead of time.
Absolutely. No, man. Yeah, we'll be doing, like I said, the corned beef. My mom and dad will be here.
All right.
So we'll be doing corned beef. Got a head of cabbage. I don't know what else I'm gonna do with it. Maybe some mac and cheese. I don't know yet, man.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Mac and cheese on the cast iron.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So. Now that I have two, and I can kind of probably do the mac and cheese while the corned beef rests. So I don't know, man. There's I've already kind of thought about that too. Like, I could do that. But no. So I'll be doing the corned beef and the cast iron, the bigger one, and I bought some Guinness. So I'm gonna soak it in that. And the cast iron.
Oh, very nice, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Looking forward to maybe talking about that one next week.
Yeah, we've done corned beef a couple of times.
Yeah, we have. It's been a while.
Usually it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
or not Thanksgiving. St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, St.
Patrick's Day. So, but yeah, local grocery store had some on sale. I picked it up. I mean, it's decent size for about like $10.
Okay.
So I was like, let's take it.
Yeah, all right. Always get those deals, man.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming over and chatting with me a little bit, and I'm looking forward to talking with you about your New Year's Eve cook.
Absolutely, man. Have a happy New Year's.
Yeah, you too.
Turning the clocks on 2022, which has been a big year.
Yeah,
a big year for us.
So
we'll definitely have to kind of talk about that. I'd like to dive back into kind of recap the year for us, I guess, and. Just maybe go over some big cooks, some stuff that we did, and stuff for the business. So, again, we want to thank everybody. We wouldn't be where we are today without all of you.
Yeah, no, that's right, Ben. Like, we can continue to grow not only the podcast but our business. Through word of mouth. We don't do a lot of advertising. We don't do a lot of marketing in that aspect. So we continue to grow based off of your feedback and then you sharing it with other people, and we appreciate that. So again, if you are enjoying the podcast, feel free to give it a like and, give us a rating on wherever you listen to the podcast at and share it with your friends. Help us go into, 2023 and continue to grow that way.
Yeah, absolutely, everyone. So have a safe and happy New Year's.
Yeah.
And if you can, get out and grill.
Get out and grill. All right, Ben. Cheers.
Take it easy.